Hello and hello and welcome again. In our last few lectures, we were discussing about the castings, the method of castings, and special casting methods. What is the casting? How does it take place? And what are the uh, prerogatives that are used for casting and other factors that are involved in casting? So, in last two lectures, we are discussing special casting methods. Few more casting methods that are in part important and that are from the examination point of view as well as from the practical point of view. Few more patterns, few more casting methods we'll be discussing, and after that we'll be discussing advantages and disadvantages of the casting. So this would be last lecture for casting. Hope everything is clear to you. Still, if you are getting problems, if you are getting difficulties in getting the topics, understanding the topic, you may get in touch with me at my phone number, and my number is 9069 360 400. So in today's lecture we'll be discussing about the uh, special casting methods. So this is, we were discussing about, these were the castings. Yesterday we discussed, the last topic we discussed was cold chamber casting, or cold chamber casting, or die casting. So in that die casting, with hot chamber die casting, we were earlier studying about hot chamber die casting. In hot chamber die casting, there is a hot chamber, there is chamber that is given, and in this is the chamber, uh, and that is hot, and molten metal is flows through inside the hot chamber, and there's a plunger, and plunger pushes the molten metal against the gravitational acceleration into the die, and this is also called gooseneck die casting because the mechanism moves up and down like a gooseneck. So this is also called, we can see here, the plunger is oscillates ups and down, and this is chamber, and this is whole mechanism is given here, that basically moves ups and downs like a goose neck. So this is called gooseneck goose neck die casting. And then we studied about the cold chamber die casting. In this cold chamber die casting, the metal is made somewhere else, and this is taken into the cold chamber, and then it is poured. And when it is poured, there is a ram or plunger that basically pushes the molten metal into the die, and when it completely fills the die under the increased pressure, under the compressed air. So this way, the molten metal completely fills the cavity, and then solidification time is given. When the metal solidifies, this is the complete, this plunger and this ram. This is coming, and this the way how we can see a little larger view. So this way we can see that this is the closed view. When the die is closed, and this ram has compelled and compressed the whole molten metal into this die, and then solidification, a force F acts here. So then a solidification time is given, and after solidification, pre-calculated time solidification time is given, and after solidification, the movable jaw is taken out, and uh, this way this casting comes out. So this is the process of cold chamber die casting that we have discussed yesterday. Today we'll be discussing about today we'll be discussing about centrifugal casting. This is centrifugal casting. Centrifugal casting is used to produce hollow cylinders, hollow shapes, and cylindrical shells that are hollow uh, from the center, like pipes and barrels and many others, tubes, bushings, rings, etc. So in this, what is done? A molten metal is filled in the cavity or mold, and then this mold is rotated at high speed. So under the centrifugal action, the molten metal comes to the outer periphery of the mold, and this way, uh, when there is no, and all the molten metal comes towards the periphery of the mold, and center portion becomes hollow. So at this rate, when this is rotated at high speed under the gravitational centrifugal action, the molten metal moves from the center and goes towards the walls. So this way we produce cylindrical parts and cylindrical components that are hollow from inside. Like I told, bushes, pipes, tubes, and barrels, etc. So this is the centrifugal casting, and it is called true centrifugal casting. Semi-centrifugal casting is also there, and this is the pouring basin, and we have got that molten metal melting somewhere else, and this molten metal is taken from the by the ladle, and then this is poured in the through the pouring basin. And once it is poured, the we can see this is the mold, and these are the driver pulleys that basically rotates the mold at high speed. So when it comes, and so when it rotates, the molten metal goes under the centrifugal action towards the wall of the mold. This way a cavity is produced, and since the molten metal moves to the periphery, to the outer shell of the cylinder under the centrifugal action. That's why it's known as centrifugal casting. So centrifugal casting, we can see this is the mold. So this is the support or driver roller, and these two or three or four driver rollers, sometimes third roller is also there. So these two or three driver rollers are used to give the high speed to the slit mold. So this is called centrifugal casting, true centrifugal casting. And this is for horizontal centrifugal casting. We can calculate centrifugal casting, mv square by r, where m is the mass of the fluid in kgs, v is the velocity, and r is the inner radius of the mold. And this is g factor, centrifugal force to weight, that is force to weight, g factor. So mv square over r divided by mg, so m cancel outs, and v square by rg, and putting v equal to 2 pi r n by 60, we get n equals 30 by 2 pi within square root 2g within bracket gf d. Gf is g factor that we have earlier discussed, mv square over r divided by mg, and that is basically v square over rg is the g factor. So this is the rpm, rotational speed, which is rpm. 30 by pi is square root of 2g within bracket 2g f by d, and d is the inner diameter of the mold. So this is the required rpm for making this much cavity. So after finding revolution per minute rpm, we can perform this type of casting. Then there is vertical centrifugal casting. In vertical centrifugal casting, rather than the position of the mold, the position of the mold is centrifugal, so is vertical. In earlier case it was horizontal. You can see the mold is in the horizontal case, but in case of vertical centrifugal, we are having centrifugal. In case we are having the mold at vertical position. So again the mold is rotated at high speed, and in this case the pouring basin, the metal is poured under the action of gravity. There is no such external pressure is given like here. It is the pouring basin, and here the pouring basin is given at the top of the mold. So molten metal is poured from the top, and then this molten metal is rotated high within the flask, and this is the top part is known as scope, and the lower part is known as drag. This is the casting, blue color. This is whole metal, molten metal comes inside the cavity, and this way the and this way part is performed, and this way part is formed. This is also called semi-centrifugal casting. In full centrifugal casting or true centrifugal casting, we have the mold in horizontal position, whereas in case of semi-centrifugal casting, we have vertical position of semi-centrifugal casting. We have vertical position of mold. So this is also against used to produce uh, in this process centrifugal force is used to produce non-tubular parts solid and non-tubular parts. EF will be around 15 by controlling the rotation speed. In this case the molten metal is does not moves out completely, but it is used for uniform structure and uniform homogeneous mixture of the homogeneous structure of the parts. So we can see here, now we can see it is shown that metal does not completely moves out towards the walls as in case of horizontal centrifugal casting. In vertical centrifugal casting or semi-centrifugal casting, the liquid metal does not rushes to the wall, and it is also it gives a good material property, and semi-centrifugal casting is used. So the vertical position of the mold is known as semi-centrifugal casting. This is, there is a rotating table. This is lower part is drag, upper part is scope, pouring basin is there, and this is the casting. This is whole molding flask, and this is semi-centrifugal casting. Okay, so probably everything is clear up till now. If not, you may get in touch with me on my number. So all types of castings, special casting methods are completed, and we will be discussing the defects that are basically arise in sand casting. So what are the defects? Number one is sand blow and pinholes. Pinholes are the minute holes beneath the surface are known as pinholes, whereas big holes just beneath the surface are known as blow holes or sand blow holes. So these are basically because gases get trapped under the surface, because the molten metal is at very high temperature, and when this is poured, it starts cooling, and if the surface is cooled first, obviously it will be cooling first. Surface cools down first, and some gases, some flue gases are trapped beneath this solidified surface, and these are known as pinholes and sand blowholes or blowholes. Now, second is sand wash. Sand wash are deformities due to interference of sand into the cavity, or due to the uh, aggressive, or due to the mixing of molding sand, or due to the reaching of molding sand inside the cavity. So this is known as sand wash. Sand wash basically reduces the sand wash basically replaces the molten metal by the sand. So this is a problem, and this is called sand wash. Also, there is cap. They are similar, very similar to sand blows, but they are not regular shape, and due to some foreign materials, the escape are formed and just beneath the surface, as due to flue gases just beneath the surface, pinholes and sand blows or blowholes are performed. So these are escapes that basically develop just beneath the surface because of impurities or inclusions. So this is called surface dip that results from erosion of sand mold during pouring, and scab is caused by portion of mold surface flaking off during solidification and gets embedded in the casting surface. So these are four casting defects. Now more casting effects are there, penetrations are there, then misalignment is there, then core has shifted upwards. This is also one kind of misalignment. Then mold cracks. These are the types of cracks. These are the deformities that often takes place in the casting. So we can see penetration is there. The molten metal penetrates into the weakened surface of sand, and this way the extra metal comes in the pattern, comes in the mold. This is called penetration. And there we have cope and drag, and if these two are not aligned, there is a parting line different. So called it is called shifting. And again, if the core has shifted, in that case, cope and drag both are shifted. In case there is core has shifted and there is mold crack is basically molten metal uh, molten metal, the mold is broken and molten metal enters into the area. So this into the areas, sand area, solid area, this is called mold crack, because the metal is not supposed to enter in the solid crack, in the solid portion of the mold. So this way mold crack is there. So these are the deformities and defects in casting, and what are the remedies for how this can be taken. So first is, we'll discuss one by one. So mold when the blowholes are formed or pinholes are formed, so we have to take care of the heat flow. So if the heat flow is uniform and there are vents given for flue gases that are heated with the molten metal, that are coming with the molten metal. So if they are given, this will problem will not occur, and because of lack of vent or proper ventilation of flue gases, these problems come. The mold sand washes, and this way the sand enters into the cavity. This also because of low strength of cavity, low strength of mold, and at the time of casting, the sand cast enters into the cavity. Again, scab is because of again the mold is as does not have required strength, and some edges crack at the time of metal entering the mold. They crack and mix with the molten metal and come and stay under the beneath the surface. So this is scrap. This is again because of strength, low strength of the mold. Then we have four more problems. Penetration. This is again associated with the low sand strength, and also sometimes also high heating of the molten metal. Cope and drag shift is because of misalignment, and core is also misalignment. Mold crack because molding sand does not have enough strength so that to stand at the time of pouring. So core shift, for this we can give remedy. So this is the these are the common defects in casting. So again, we are having misrun, cold shuts, cold slots, silicate cavity, and molds. Misrun is basically a little less molten metal reaches into the cavity, and a few part is and a small part of the cavity remains empty. So this causes misrun, and in order to take misrun care, we have to the completely fill the cavity by increasing fluidity of the molten metal. So we have to check the fluidity of the molten metal, and also no high temperature should be there. At the same time, slow pouring must be there, and cross sectional area should be increased. So this is misrun. Again, cold shuts. Cold shuts are defects occur when two portions of metal float together, but no fusion occurs between them due to premature freezing. So there are cold shuts because of metal flow irregular. Then cold shuts are there. Cold shuts are there because these are the globules of metal that are entrapped in the casting. So small spheres of metals are trapped or formed in the casting. Those are known as cold shed. Then shrinkage cavity. mm, all we know that shrinkage is the property. The height shrinkage takes place when the molten metal is converted into solidified. So we have to take care of this shrinkage cavity. We have to take care that extra metal should be provided and the solidification should be deformed. Also, microporosity, small blowholes, small capillaries are formed within the molding sand. This because of high wettiness or high moisture content. And at the time high moisture content, this problem is occurred. So we have to take care so that appropriate moisture content should be adequate. So these are the casting defects. So I hope everything is clear, and if not, if any doubts, please get in touch with me. I am asking time and again, get in touch with me so that I take care of your problems. Okay, bye for now.